What's up everyone, this is Travis from Law Revere Photo, and on today's episode I want to start a new series of videos that talks about my personal favorite photographers and how their work has influenced not only my own personal work but also photography as a whole. So as most of you already know by now, I love shooting landscape photography, and it probably doesn't come as a surprise that I can't think of anyone better to start off this series of videos than the master of landscape himself, Ansel Adams. Ansel Adams was an American landscape photographer who completely changed the way that we view photography as a fine art. He worked a lot with big film cameras and often went out into a lot of the wilderness here in California and just was able to capture a lot of the natural beauty and really helped the national parks movement for conservation. And so his work is a completely huge influence on me. I love his work. I've seen a lot of it in person and it's truly breathtaking. If anyone has ever seen any Ansel Adams work in person or even just found one of his books, you can't put it down, you can't even look away. There's an emotional depth and there's a technical prowess that just comes with Ansel Adams' work, and I can't wait to learn more about him and just being able to take a lot of his teachings and put that into some of my own work and just become a better photographer. So by doing these videos, I wanted to showcase how some of these photographers have really changed the way that I look at photography, have helped me become a better photographer. So with Ansel Adams, there's a lot to cover, so let's go through a quick slideshow and we'll talk all about Ansel Adams. Ansel Adams, the American landscape photographer, was born on February 20th, 1902 in San Francisco, California. Growing up in the Bay Area for most of his childhood, including surviving the great 1906 earthquake, Ansel took to noticing the surrounding beauty of nature at a young age. When he was 12 years old, he began to show a great passion for music, specifically the piano. This turned into a primary focus for Ansel for many years and was poised to become a promising concert pianist. With music, he learned discipline, structure, and order that helped him to balance out his somewhat erratic behavior. Upon taking a family vacation to Yosemite, he was awestruck by the natural beauty of the valley itself. To Ansel, it became known as his cathedral, his church, his place of worship. His early recognition of nature and its beauty gave way to his wonder of the surrounding light. His father provided him with his first camera, a Kodak Brownie box camera, and was off capturing the Yosemite Valley. His first photographic adventure was met with his normal, enthusiastic behavior. In the following years and subsequent return trips to Yosemite, he had better cameras and better equipment, all to aid his desire to learn more about the art of photography. Ansel worked with many different formats and film sizes, but most frequently used large format field cameras, accommodating 8x10 sheet film. This large film size allowed for extensive detail and greater control to be printed in the darkroom. His darkroom technique gave him the ability to manipulate the final print into his original vision when he would take the photograph. Ansel's influence on photography has completely changed how we view the medium as a fine art. Photography, Ansel stated, as a powerful medium of expression and communications, offers an infinite variety of perception, interpretation, and execution. He believed that photography was not the mere recording of a moment in time, but a feeling in that moment. Ansel believed in pre-visualization, knowing the exact final print before you even click the shutter. For example, when photographing the face of Half Dome, he used a yellow filter which gave a greater tonality to the rock face, but no effect on the sky. This effect did not please Ansel until he used a dark red filter which dramatically darkened the sky, giving the Half Dome face a much more sinister appearance. Ansel loved teaching and has written many technical books about his process and how one can achieve greater understanding about camera equipment, proper exposure, and printing control. His most important contribution to photography was the inception of the zone system, a dramatic new way of analyzing light in a scene and how to properly control exposure to achieve a proper negative. Ansel passed away in 1984 from cardiovascular disease. His legacy and impact on not only the art world but America as a whole has given its citizens a new way to view nature and the beauty of it. His conservation efforts to preserve such beautiful natural landscapes garnered him great praise and honor. Today in the lower Inyo National Forest, you can explore the Ansel Adams Wilderness and climb atop Mount Ansel Adams. Any visitor to Yosemite Valley knows greatly of Ansel's presence in the park, and it is not uncommon to find groups of photographers there each day, tracing the steps of this great artist. Now, because Ansel Adams is a pretty household name when it comes to photography, there are a lot of books about him and his work, and a lot of books by him and his work. Now I want to talk about this book first. This book is called The Negative. This was actually the second book in a series of 3 books that Ansel wrote. One was The Camera, second one is The Negative, and the third was called The Print. Now the camera, when it comes to photography, is definitely an important part because you need the camera to take the picture. It's certainly the tool that gets you to do what you need to do. The print is also an important part because that is the finished product of what you were hoping to achieve with the camera in the first place. But in my opinion, this book, The Negative, is the most vital book that I think you should have out of the 3, because the negative itself is what holds the photograph. And if you don't have a proper photograph on that negative, then there's not going to be any point to having the print, or there may not even be a point to having the camera if you don't know how to use it properly. So what I really like about this book is that it pretty much is a textbook when it comes to photography. It has all of his knowledge, all of his technical know-how that he has acquired over all the years of being a photographer. And I went through this book like I was in a college course. I went through and I highlighted quite a bit, and it's got so many things that you could learn about in here. And at first it might seem like a lot to take in. He's got a whole bunch of different chapters that just talk about the different aspects of what it takes to achieve a great exposure on a film negative. But the most important chapter in this book, and one of his most important innovations to the world of photography, was the zone system. And the zone system, which we'll talk about on a later episode, is something that is explained in very crucial detail in this book, and essentially is a way for the photographer to pre-visualize their exposure and their final product before they've even clicked the shutter to take the picture. So reading into this book, studying it, and really learning a lot can greatly benefit you as a photographer. So if you find this anywhere, go use bookstores. I bought this online on Amazon for about $4, and it's been one of the most important books that I've ever owned. And it's beat up, and it's got a lot of dust and scratches everywhere, but this thing is great, and it's got a lot of awesome pictures that he's taken before. And a lot of the great things in here is he shows you multiple photographs explaining why he's doing something to demonstrate an example. So in this page, for example, he's talking about filters and how color filters affect the overall scene. So you see here is a photo without the filter, and then he starts going through and naming off why filters affect this photograph. And now over here to this book. This is Ansel Adams in the National Parks. I believe this book was created by the Ansel Adams Family Trust, and in my opinion, this group creates the best books about Ansel Adams and his work. When it comes to the photographs, which are the most important part of these books, these are the best reproduction prints in any of these books. I also believe this is the biggest book from this group. He has other smaller books that pertain to just specific areas and specific national parks like Yellowstone or Yosemite or the Sierra Nevada. But this book is just chock full of amazing images. And we got some of the cacti, and we have the Grand Canyon and the bristlecone pine. I mean, these images just are strikingly beautiful. And anytime I'm ever feeling down on my abilities as a photographer, I'll sit down and I'll look through this book really closely just to get ideas and just to be influenced and inspired, because with the technology that he had in terms of his camera gear, he's still able to recreate images like this, and I don't think that anyone even today could reproduce something like this. I mean, these are just amazing that he was able to get these exposures on his camera and then go into the darkroom and manipulate them in a way that would invoke the feeling that he had when he was at that location taking this photograph. I mean, this one of the Grand Canyon, for example, is just amazing because there's so many different shades of gray. There's deep blacks and there's stark whites, and then there's all these grays to just give this picture texture. It gives it feeling and emotion, and just something that not a lot of photographs have anymore, in my opinion, today. And so I looked through this book, and he's got a bunch of cool quotes and maybe little anecdotes about maybe what the photograph is about, and they're just really fun to read. But just more importantly, looking through some of these images and just flipping through this book, I could sit here and look at this book for hours. I still haven't even really flipped through every single page and just seen what is in here. So if you find any of these books, and this book particular in the national parks, this is a great book, and a lot can be learned from just looking really closely at different photographers' work. And I believe that with Ansel Adams, we can all learn some important lessons about photography as a whole. So that's all I have for you guys this week. I want to thank you guys again for coming here and subscribing to my YouTube channel. I love being able to come up with new ideas and put out all of these videos every week and write the blog every week. And it's been a really good experience for me to keep on this schedule and be able to gain new subscribers and gain new followers and just be able to build a new community and an audience that I can connect with and share something that I personally love to share with you guys. So I encourage you to subscribe to this channel, like my Facebook page at facebook.com/TravisLaRevierePhoto. Follow me on Instagram at instagram.com/TLaRevierePhoto. And finally, and most importantly, visit my website at www.larevierephoto.com. If you go onto my blog today, you can see a new article that I've written, which is a little bit more of an extensive biography about Ansel Adams and why he is important to me as a photographer. So until next time, I will see you guys next week.